Hello, if you'd like to make this video larger, click the YouTube button in the bottom right corner. Welcome to third grade. I'm your teacher, Mr. Ritenour, and today is our first official day of mandatory online distance learning. So we are going to basically be doing the same thing every day. And for those of you that have tuned in the last couple weeks, it's going to look very similar to what you've already been doing. All right, so let me explain what it's going to look like. Each day, you're going to want to log into Google Classroom. You're going to find the day that we're on, which should be probably at the very top of your stream, and you're going to click on the Google form. Now, once you're in the Google form, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to watch today's lesson. That video will always be a YouTube video, and you're not going to be able to maximize it on your Google Forms. So just remember that trick about clicking the YouTube button in the bottom right of the video. It'll make the screen a lot bigger and allow you to watch it full screen. All right, so once you've done that, you just need to watch the video, follow along. If I ask you to get your Go Math book or your Simple Solutions book or to write stuff down, make sure you do that. Don't throw anything away. Everything that you do, I just ask that you hold on to it, put it in your Mustang folder if you need to. That way, in case the school needs evidence that you were working hard, you've got it right there, okay? That being said, you don't need to rip out any Go Math pages. Just make sure that you keep all those in the book. That way you can just turn in your book at the end of the year. All right, same with Simple Solutions. So, okay, well, each day we're going to cover a couple topics, and I'm going to give you some breaks. That way your eyes don't get sore. During those breaks, I recommend that you do some exercise or get a drink, or do some stretches. Anything that kind of rests your eyes from staring at a screen, because distance learning can be fun, but it can also be very hard on your eyes since you're constantly staring at your computer or your tablet or whatever, or your phone. Okay, so day one, we are going to cover a couple different topics today. First, we're going to do 12.1. Then we are going to, actually, rewind that. Blah, blah, blah. First, we're going to do a common sense lesson for fun to kick us off. Then we're going to jump into the hard stuff, okay? We're going to start a whole new math chapter in geometry, and we're going to do 12.1 together. Then we're going to take a little break, and we're going to do some reading from our Storytown book. Now, you don't have your Storytown book at home, so I'm going to display the pages on the screen, and you're going to be able to follow along that way. All right, then we're going to take a little break and come back and finish off with some Simple Solutions grammar, okay? So everything that you need to do this week will be in the videos, all right? So we're not going to do everything in 1 week on today's video. That would be silly. But if you tune in on Monday, on Tuesday, all the way through up till Friday, you're going to have everything that you need to officially have completed Mercer Elementary's third grade curriculum for this week, okay? Now, some of you are hungry and you crave extra learning opportunities, which I love. If you want more than just what these videos are giving you, you can go over on your Google Classroom and you can go over and click underneath the topics on weekly agenda. The weekly agenda each week will have optional activities that you can do at home. Some of them are electronic, others are not, but they're just good extra things if you'd like to, okay? And they're totally optional. You don't need to turn any of it in, but you're more than welcome to send me pictures. I love seeing students working hard. Okay, so let's begin with some common sense. I'm going to put myself in the corner. Today's common sense lesson, lesson 30. When ordering food, always use the phrase, "May I please have?" Yeah, that sometimes we forget to do. It is rude to demand things, especially when you're out to eat. You need to say, may I please, or may I have. All right, be polite. That's common sense. And the nicer you are to people, chances are the nicer they're going to be back. Okay, so next time you're out and about after all this crazy social distancing and shutdown stuff's over, I want you to practice. May I please have? And while you're at home, whenever you're at the dinner table, I want you to say that as well with your parents, okay? Practice being polite 100% of the time, okay? So that is today's common sense lesson. Make sure you say, may I please have when you want something. All right. So if you need to pause the video right now, go ahead and do that and get your Go math book. Okay, so we are on page 697. Check out my new stylus. It's fancy. I figured since we're doing all this distance learning, I need something cool, like a cool tech tool. So I shouldn't have any more excuses for poor handwriting on my screen. Okay, so we're going to start a whole new chapter on geometry. What is geometry? Yeah, it's the study of shapes, all right? The study of shapes and lines and points and all that stuff. And we're going to start with the most basic geometric vocabulary today. So if you look down here, it says, an architect draws plans for houses, stores, offices, and other buildings. Look at the shapes in the drawing at the right. So what are some shapes that you see off the top of your head? I see some rectangles. I see triangles. I see what looks like maybe a square. Ooh, semicircle up here. We've got more rectangles. Yeah, so by third grade, I'm guessing you already know most of your basic shapes. So this definition shouldn't be that new to you. A plane shape, now that word plane might be new, is a shape on a flat surface. So any shape that you draw on a flat surface is called a plane shape, all right, not a 3D shape. It's formed by points that make curved paths, line segments, or sometimes both. Okay, so anything that you can draw on a paper that's a closed shape is considered a plane shape. All right, so a point is an exact position or location. So just go ahead and take your pencil and I want you to push down on that. That's a point right there. You can make it bigger if you want to. Point. All right, point. Now a line is a straight path. So a line is special because it's got arrows on both sides. So let's trace this line. It goes on forever. Name that reference. The Sandlot. Oh, I'm bummed we won't get to watch that during PSSAs, but at least we don't have PSSAs, so that's good. Okay, so we've got a point and we've got a line. Now, sometimes we have what are called line segments when they've got points on both sides of the line. Cha-ching. See that? Go ahead and trace it. Those points are called endpoints. So the difference between a line and a line segment is a line segment has endpoints. All right, I'll draw them again. These are my Barney colors. But a line has arrows because a line goes on forever. A line segment does not. It has a start and a stop. Okay. What if you have a mix between a line and a line segment? Well, if you do, you've got what we call a ray. So a ray has an arrow on one side and an endpoint on another. Okay, so let's scroll down here. I'm down here, by the way. Some plane shapes are made by connecting line segments at their endpoints. One example is a square. Describe a square using math words. So a square has how many line segments? Well, let's just start at the top here. You got that's one line segment. See the points? Then we've got 2, 3, and yep, good job. 4 line segments. The line segments meet only at their, so what do we call this spot where they meet? It's called an endpoint. Only at their endpoints. All right, cha-ching, let's move on. Next page. Plane shapes have length and width, but no thickness, so they're called two-dimensional plane shapes. All right, so sometimes we call them 2D. Anything on a flat surface, 2D, right? What happens if it comes off the surface? Now it's not 2D, but nice, 3D, good job. Okay, so we've got length and width. Plane shapes can be open or closed. Okay, just like restaurants, open or closed. A closed shape is what we normally think about. It starts and ends at the same point. So this is kind of obvious here. A closed point, let's trace the circle, is closed, all right? You can't sneak anything into it. Let's contrast it with an open shape. All right, let's trace this open triangle right down here. See how it's open? If you look at my green mark I'm going to make, that's where it should be closed, but it's not. It's open. Okay, so that's the difference. So we don't need to trace Pac-Man and all his friends. Instead, it says in the space below, right here, draw more examples of closed shapes. So let's just draw 1 or 2 more. Okay, go ahead and do that right now. If you need more time, ever, just pause the video, okay? I'm going to show you what I came up with. Now, if we were in the classroom, I'd say bet a dime, what do we call that shape? Good job. A trap as well, right? Because it kind of looks like a beaver trap. Bunny trap. Oh. Okay, terrible artist. I should stop drawing. And another example. Let's see. You could have drawn a pentagon. How many sides does a pentagon have? Yeah, good job. Alright, so an open shape we said does not end at the same point like the closed shapes. So look, we've got like half of a rectangle down here. We've just got like a squiggly line. Can you draw some other examples? Maybe 1 or 2. Go ahead and do that right now. Okay, pause it if you need to, but I'm going to go over mine. Let's see. How about kind of like half a Christmas tree there? You see it? All right, so let's just keep moving on. Last question. Is the plane shape at the right a closed shape or an open shape? Explain how you know. So what do you think? Well, if you said open, I'm not sure how you got that because there's no way to get inside the shape. There's walls on all sides. That's why the answer is closed. Now it says explain, so we need to use words. Closed because it. Now, if you look at the definition, a closed shape starts, I'm going to use my highlighter, starts and ends at the same point. So that's our definition. So let's write that. Closed because it starts / stops at the same point. Now point, you can do PT dot. All right. So let's keep moving here. We've got open versus closed. Now we're going to figure out how many line segments this triangle has. Well, if you know anything about triangles, how many sides does it have? Nice. So the number of sides is also the same thing as the number of line segments. So it has 3. Number 2, which words describe this shape? Well, looky here. We've got what looks like a line and a line segment combined because we got a point on one side and an arrow on the other. What do we call that? Yeah, we call that a ray. It's kind of like a sun ray, like a ray of sunshine, because if you think about the sun, which I'm going to draw up here, the sun, yay, he sends out rays of sunshine down to the earth. Okay, see, it starts at this point right here, start, and it goes on forever. That's what the arrow means. Okay, all the way to the earth. All right, so we've got number 3. Is it an open or a closed shape? What do you think? I agree. It definitely looks closed because there's no openings. But number 4, wow, that looks like a glass or something, right? Are you a glass half full or glass half empty? I'm a glass half full. That is an open shape, right? Milk. Yummy. Campbell's milk. Okay, number 5. Is that a line or a line segment? What do you think? Here's what you need to pay attention to. There's dots, endpoints on both sides. Good. It's a segment. Nice. And by the way, sometimes we nickname a line segment. We just call it a segment. Okay, that's like its nickname. All right. Open or closed? What do you think? Number 6. Yeah, it's open. And if you want to, draw a line to make it closed. Nice. All right, number 7. That looks like a pond. Reminds me of playing putt-putt. You know how you always have to hit the ball over those, like, over like a bridge or something? That's what it looks like to me. That is open or closed? Closed, right? There's no openings. You can't get into that. Number 8. Same thing. All right, let's just write C to save some time. And number 9. Look at number 9. That's tricky. Pay close attention. You've got to look carefully. Yeah, it's open, all right? That's the opening right there that should be closed. Okay, let's move on here. Number 10, it says write how many line segments the shape has. So I need to count. How many line segments does this shape have? Well, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So that arrowhead has 4 line segments. Okay, number 11. Let's just pick a point here. I'm going to start in the top corner and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This reminds me a lot of finding the perimeter, huh? How about number 12? 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, another trapezoid. Number 13 looks like a pretty cool gem. I'm going to start right here at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what's a six-sided shape called? Bonus question. 6 has an X in it, just like this one. It's a hexagon. Woohoo! Did you know that? Maybe, maybe not. Number 14. Write whether the shape is open or closed again, okay? Open or closed, what do you think? Closed. The letter E, open or closed? Open. 16. Good, closed. And 17. That's a triangle. And good, it is closed as well. You're really getting the hang of this here. Let's move on to page 700. What's the error? Brittany, that's Britney Spears. She says there are two endpoints. Let's underline important information. In the shape shown at the right. Is she correct? Explain. Brittany, you're so silly. I see one endpoint, but on the other side, is that a second endpoint? No! That's an arrow, so is she correct? We won't write it in all caps because we don't want to be rude to Brittany. No, there's only one endpoint. And if you wanted to, you could even add on here, ... What do we call that? Where you have one endpoint, one arrow. Good, it's a ray. That would have been funny, don't you think, if they would have made Brittany's name Ray? That would have been hilarious. They missed out on a great opportunity. Silly Go Math. Okay, number 19. Explain how you can make the shape at the right a closed shape. Change it so it is. Okay, so we don't need to do this explanation part. You can cross that off. But I just want you to make it closed. Go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you what I did. Make it closed. All right, hopefully you did something like this. Boom. So it went from having an opening to being closed. Just like that. Simple as that. All right, number 20. Look at Carly's drawing at the right. What did she draw? How is it like a line? How is it different? Change the drawing so that it is a line. Okay, so a lot of stuff they slammed into this question. Just tell me, what is that? You've got an arrow on one side and a dot on the other. A point, I should say. Yeah, like your Uncle Ray. Okay, change the drawing so that it is a line. So just look what I'm doing. I'm going at that point, and I'm drawing an arrow. Okay, so now I've got a straight line with a point in the middle. Or maybe actually I should have done this, just change the point to an arrow. I think that's probably what they wanted me to do. So, whoops, there we go. Okay, moving on here. Let's do number 21. Draw a closed shape in the workspace by connecting 5 line segments at their endpoints. So, what do we call a shape that has 5 sides or 5 segments? Yeah, the pentagon, right? So, it kind of looks like a barn. By the way, this is how you start a soccer ball. It's a great way to draw a soccer ball. You start by drawing a pentagon, and then you've got lines that come out on either side, like this. And pretty soon, you've got yourself a soccer ball. Pretty cool, huh? It's about the only thing that I can sort of draw. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Alright, since I can't get outside, I've got to draw like I am. Alright, right, number 22. Draw each shape where it belongs on the table, so let's just use arrows. I'm cool with that. Open or closed? What do you think? What about that diamond or kite? Good job. Closed. The one next door looks like an L that's missing its top. Good. Open. And the doorstop at the bottom, this one would be correct. Open because it's missing the bottom. And we've got our semicircle, which is closed. All right, let's flip it. Oh man, we're crushing it. We're already on to practice. Let's do it. How many line segments does the shape have? So number 1, 4 line segments. Already did that for you. You can just darken that up. Number 2. All right, so count the sides. 1, 2, 3. Did you get 6? Good. That's a hexagon. Let's get in the practice of calling it what it is. Number 3. Open or closed? What do you think? Look closely. Don't get tricked. Open. Very good. It's because of this right here. Number 4. Open or closed? Closed. Number 5. Carl wants to show a closed shape in his drawing. Show and explain how to make the drawing a closed shape. Don't even bother explaining. Just show me by drawing a line. There it is. Sorry, that was messy. I'll do it again. All right, number 6. The shape of a fish pond at the park. Oh, yes, fish. By the way, side note, Mr. Nitch and I, literally the last day before this whole shutdown, we had to go and take all the trout from the math lab and dump them into Cool Spring. That way they didn't die. You know how you're not allowed in the classroom or in the school? Well, neither are the teachers. I know, it's crazy. So basically all my stuff is in there too, and I haven't been able to get it. But thank goodness we were able to get those fish out, or else they all would have died. And we got 148 fish this year. That's how many fish we raised, which is like 3 times what we normally do. So it was a very successful year. And if you ever get out to Cool Spring Creek, you might even see some of them in there, okay? So sorry about that side note, but let's get back to our question. The shape of a fish pond is shown below. Is the shape open or closed? Well, that shape looks closed. There's no openings. Okay, number 7, what am I going to do? All right, it is time for you to do this part on your own, okay? I am going to have you pause this video right now, and whenever you unpause it, you'll be able to check your answers to see if you're right, okay? So go ahead and click pause right now. Okay, welcome back. I hope that you were able to answer all those questions on your own, and it is time to reveal the answers. Dun, 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 dun. There they are. So rather than waiting for a while, I'm just going to have you pause it so that you can check over those answers. Go ahead and pause it now. All right, good job, boys and girls. You can close your Go Math books. No need to rip anything out. At the end of all this, this crazy shutdown, you're going to end up probably having to bring your Go Math book and turn it in as proof that you've been working. All right, so go ahead and close that, and we're gonna I'm gonna have you take a little break right now, and whenever we get back, we're gonna dive into reading. Okay, so if you'd like to take a break, pause the video. We'll see you in a little bit, and go ahead and do that now. Okay, welcome back, boys and girls. I hope you had a good break, or if you didn't take a break, you're really tough, I guess. We are going to switch gears here from math into reading, all right? So we're trying to stay on the same track as all the other 3rd grade classes. I might be doing different things on these videos But all together in third grade, we're going to make sure we're all doing pretty much the same exact thing. That way you can all move on to fourth grade and be at the same page. Not necessarily the same level, of course, because we all learn differently, but you will have been taught the same exact material. Okay, so that being said, we are going to read our Lesson 25 Storytown story. There's not a book in front of you, so you're going to have to watch along on the screen here, and there's actually an interactive activity I'm going to need your help with at the end, okay? So sit back and let's watch.
Characters, narrator, Diz, Cosmo, characters, narrator, Diz, Cosmo, Robodog, Professor, Captain Spacely. Setting, a town on Earth in the future. Narrator. This story takes place in the year 2222 in a small town called Greenville. Greenville is a friendly little community, just like many other towns. Everyone gets along there. Diz. Hi, Cosmo. Thanks for coming over. Cosmo. Anytime, Diz. How are things over at your dad's hydrocar store? Diz. Really busy, Cosmo. Cosmo. I hear they're selling those hydrocars faster than the factory on planet Mars can make them. Narrator. Diz and Cosmo live with their families in Greenville. Their parents fly the children to school in the family hydrocars. The children chat with their friends each evening on the family televideo computers. They also play with their family dogs. Diz. Here, Robodog. Catch the flying disc. Robodog. I am coming, owner Diz. I will catch the disc. Narrator. There is one unusual thing about the dogs in Greenville. All the dogs are robots. Diz. Good catch, Robodog. Robodog. Thank you, owner Diz. What can I do for you now? Narrator. The Robodog is the only kind of dog in Greenville. Scientists have built robodogs to be better than real dogs. They can speak. They can take care of chores that would have required effort, such as cleaning and cooking. They can even beam movies from their eyes onto a wall. Fluency tip. Think about what a robot dog might sound like if it spoke. Cosmo. Last night, our robodog showed us an old movie. Diz. What was it about? Cosmo. It was about a real dog. She was beautiful. Diz. A real dog? What was she like? Cosmo. A lot like our robodogs. She could do tricks and help her owners. Diz. Could she speak? Cosmo. She could only make a sound called barking. She didn't know any human words. Diz. Really? That's strange. Robodog. Yes, that is very strange, owner Diz. Cosmo. Robodog, I'm hungry. Would you go to the kitchen and make sandwiches for Diz and me, please? Robodog. Should I do that, owner Diz? Diz. It's okay, Robodog. Cosmos Robodog is at home. You can follow Cosmos commands, too. Robodog. I will be right back, owner Diz and friend Cosmo.
Okay, so before I go on to the next page, I just want you to answer this question, okay? What is the difference between the dogs on at Greenville versus the dogs that you're used to in Mercer? Yeah, the dogs in Greenville are futuristic robot dogs, right? They're called robo dogs, whereas the dogs that you have are live living creatures.
Cosmo. The dog in the movie seemed to love her owner. She was sweet and cuddly. She didn't just work around the house. Diz. The dog loved her owner? That sounds strange. Cosmo. It was nice, really. The dog and her owner were best friends. Diz. I wish my robo-dog were like that. Narrator. You see, robo-dogs are helpful and can do tricks, but they are not sweet or cuddly. Cosmo. Maybe we should talk to the professor about this. Narrator. The professor is an expert on animals, so Diz and Cosmo go to talk to the professor about the differences between real dogs and robo-dogs. Professor. Yes, Diz and Cosmo. It is true that real dogs had emotions, while robo-dogs do not. Real dogs could be happy or sad. They could even show love. Fluency Tip. Think about how Diz feels about dogs. Express that feeling as you read these lines. Diz. Why don't our robo-dogs show emotion? Professor. Scientists do not know how to make dogs that act like friends. They can make them useful, but not loving. Cosmo. My robo-dog is very functional. It cleans my room, makes my meals, and helps me with my homework. Diz. Robo-dogs aren't very cuddly. Cosmo. I know. After Robo-Dog has done its chores or tricks, it just switches off. Professor. That's right. It dozes. The scientists made robo-dogs that way to save energy. Diz. I wish I had a real dog. Cosmo. There aren't any more real dogs. They disappeared permanently from Earth 100 years ago. Professor. It's funny that you should say that. I just got off my intergalactic computer phone with the famous explorer, Captain Spacely. He told me about an astonishing discovery. Maybe he can tell you about it, too. Computer phone, call Captain Spacely.
All right, so for those of you that have dogs, and even those of you that don't, you probably know someone that does have a dog. You've probably seen your dog get angry or upset or scared. All right, these robo dogs don't have emotions. Yes, they could show videos and go make you a sandwich or something like that, but they can't actually experience love and joy and all those wonderful things that we love about our dogs. So the more you think about it, would you really like to have a robo dog? Yeah, me neither. I like having a real dog, although I can't because my wife is allergic.
Spacely. Captain Spacely here. Professor, do you want to hear more about my discovery? Professor. Yes, indeed I do, Captain. Tell my friends Diz and Cosmo what you have found. Spacely. I can do better than that. I'll show them what I have found. Narrator. Captain Spacely steps away from the computer phone. Diz and Cosmo hear a whining sound. Then they hear barking. Diz. What is that strange sound? Cosmo. I heard that sound in the movie. It's the barking sound a real dog makes. Narrator. Captain Spacely is visible on the screen again. Spacely beckons to a furry thing that leaps into his arms. Cosmo and Diz see that it looks like a robo-dog, but it acts differently. Spacely: I've found real dogs. There is a small planet that has many of the same animals that were once on Earth. In fact, it has so many kinds of inhabitants that food and space are becoming scarce. Narrator: The dog in Captain Spacely's arms wags its tail and licks his face. Diz and Cosmo look at the dog with amazement. Diz: I wish I could have one of those dogs. Cosmo: Me too. Fluency Tip. Captain Spacely is telling important details. Speak at a slower speed so that listeners can follow the story clearly. Professor: I think that can be arranged. Tell them your plan, Captain Spacely. Spacely: To help the animals, I am bringing a spaceship full of dogs back to Earth. There is ample room on Earth for dogs. Also, I know that people on Earth would take great care of them. Cosmo and Diz, caring for a dog takes a lot of responsibility. If you promise to care for them, you can have the first two. Diz and Cosmo: Thanks, Captain Spacely. Narrator: Sure enough, Captain Spacely brings real dogs back to Earth. Cosmo and Diz get the first two dogs. Diz: Give me a hug, Scooter. Cosmo: Here, rascal. Come and play with me. Narrator: As for the robo-dogs, Cosmo and Diz decide to keep them. They come in handy when it's time to give Scooter and Rascal a bath. Robo-dog: Owner Cosmo, should I get Rascal's bath ready? Cosmo: Yes, Robo-dog. After that, would you take Rascal out for a walk?
Okay, so that's the end of that short play. Just a couple questions here before we do a vocab review. Question number one, how can you tell that this is fiction? A couple answers could be that there are no such things as robo-dogs, people don't live on Mars, we don't have that kind of technology yet. Those are all reasons why this is definitely a work of fiction. How did you know it was a play? Some answers could be that there are characters, you've got lines, and you've even got a whole character list at the beginning. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that story about robo-dogs, and if you do have an actual dog at home, give them lots of love. Okay, I'm going to put myself in the corner, and we're going to do a vocab review here. Okay, so you can probably see me in the corner. See if I can maximize it. Let's do it. Okay, stop barking. I don't know how to get that dog to stop barking. Oh, there we go. Oh, I guess he's just gonna keep barking the whole time. So, which example best fits the word? Okay, required is the word. So something that's required means that you have to have it. So example number one, you need 2 eggs for this recipe, or you can add cheese to this recipe. Which one means you have to do it? The word can or the word need? Yeah, example 1, right? Whoa, the dog did a flip. All right, word 2, functional. The clock on the wall is correct. It's midnight. Or the clock on the wall is old and broken. Well, functional means that it's useful. So which would be useful? A clock that's correct or a clock that's broken? Yeah, a clock that's correct. Next, ample. You are late and have to hurry to eat your lunch, or you have plenty of time to eat your lunch. Well, ample means you have a lot. So would it mean that you're late or that you have plenty of time? Good. Example 2. Plenty of time means ample. All right, 3 more. Inhabitants. Inhabitants are people that live in a certain place. So example 1 says a group of people visit a historic village, or a group of people live in a historic village. So which one? Visiting or living would mean to inhabit. Correct. Example 2. How about amazement? Henry looks surprised when he sees an exotic bird, or Henry looks annoyed when he hears an exotic bird. If you're amazed, are you going to be annoyed or surprised? Woohoo! I love that backflip. That's awesome. Responsibility. So I'm not even going to tell you because you should already know this word. Karen shows everyone pictures of her dog, or Karen feeds her dog. Which one is the responsible choice? Yeah, feeding is responsible. All right. Woohoo! Oh my goodness, is this dog going to catch the frisbee? Is it going to? Please, please do it. Throw the frisbee. Throw the frisbee. There we go. Jump, boy. Yay! We did it. Do it again. Woo. Catch it. Yes. That's awesome. Okay. All right, boys and girls. Excellent job with reading today. Math, cha-ching. Reading, cha-ching. One more lesson. So take a break if you need it. If not, you can just hang on here for another second, and we are going to do our third big topic, which is simple solutions. All right, so pause the video, take a break if you want, or pause it, go get your Grammar Simple Solutions book if you need. Okay. All right, welcome back. I'm in the bottom corner here. We are going to jump right into simple solutions lesson. Now this is key. Pay attention. 105. Now you might be asking yourself, Mr. R, we're not there yet. We skipped a whole bunch. Yeah, I know. We had to. Because we had to make sure all third grade was doing the same lesson. And so that's why we're jumping all the way up to lesson 105. Because some of the other third grade classes were ahead of us in grammar. Okay, so we are going to start on lesson 105. Follow along with me if you could. Number 1, add a comma and quotes. My sister showed me how to braid my hair, bragged Nora. All right, so we've got the bragged Nora part. That is telling us how Nora is saying what she wants to say. So we need to put a comma before the word brag. So the comma goes after hair, and the quotes go around what she's saying, what she's bragging about. She's saying, my sister showed me how to braid my hair. Wow, Nora, learn to French braid and then I'll be impressed. Okay, number 2. Choose the word that means the same as the underlined words. Rewrite the new sentence on the lines below. If it storms, the electricity will not be connected. So we need to combine the words not and connected. So which one of those means not connected? Disjointed? Well, jointed is not right. Discharged? Nope. Oh yeah, disconnected. There we go. So let's rewrite the sentence. If it storms, comma, the electricity will. Now, we're not going to write not this time because we have a new word. So should I say the electricity will disconnected? No, that doesn't make sense. What about the electricity will be disconnected? There we go. Be dis, meaning not, connected. And all sentences need punctuation at the end. In this one, we need a, very good, a period. Good work, Popovich. I know you're working hard. All right, so number 3. Use a conjunction to connect the words in each sentence. Do you think this is a shorter way, blank a longer way to go? What do you think, Dibs? I agree. A shorter way or a longer way to go. All right, Smalley, you're up. It is almost time for recess. Blank, not yet. But not yet. So we didn't use and that's okay. Number 4. What does the underlined word mean? Madeline is squeamish when it comes to frogs and snakes. That's a good word. One time my brother got squeamish on a roller coaster. Alright, so what does it mean? What do you think, Fish? Easily upset? That makes sense. Excited? I mean, maybe, but I don't know. What about interested? It's a tricky one because they all kind of make sense, but squeamish is a negative word. It means that you are easily upset. Good job, Peyton. All right, other Peyton's turn. Bettina, underline 2 adjectives in this sentence. Just tell me one of them, okay? An adjective is a descriptive word. The fluffy chicks pecked at the hard ground. Which word describes the chicks? Good job, Bettina. All right, how about Lucas? What's my other adjective? What's my other descriptive word? It's kind of toward the end. What word describes the ground? Nice, the hard ground. That's the second adjective. All right, good work. Number 6, we're on the next page. Choose the object. So the object, I'll tell you this, okay? I'm going to teach you something. The object always comes, got like a dead spot, there we go. Always comes after the verb, okay? So let's just find the verb, okay? Underline the verb. The ice cream dripped on my shirt. What's my action word? That's the verb. Good, dripped. The object comes after the verb, and here's the second part. It always comes after the verb, and oh my goodness, sorry about that. I have no idea what happened. So back to where we were at. The object always comes after the verb, and I was trying to write up there, I can't. And is always a noun. So we're looking for a noun that comes after the verb. The ice cream dripped on my shirt. So is it on my or shirt? Which one of those is a verb? On my or shirt? Well, on is what we call a preposition. My is a possessive pronoun. So the answer, ding ding ding, is shirt. Okay, moving on. Number 7. Which is my correct adjective? Oh, by the way, I can't get super excited like I want to and be all animated because I have to film these videos during my son's nap time. So that's why I'm like, I mean, one, it's hard for me to sit here at a computer for this long, but two, that's why I'm not like super loud or trying to make things like silly and do all kinds of crazy loud voices. It's because my son's sleeping. I know. He naps for like 2 hours every day. Okay, so number 7, write the correct form of the adjective. So I'm looking at better or best. Which one do you think makes the most sense? If I practice every day, I will become a better player or a best player? Better. Now, if it was, I will become the blank player, it would be the best, but it doesn't say that. Okay, number 8, write the past tense form of each verb. Use the chart for help. Deegan blank to sit in the back of the room. So we're looking for past. So let's just cross off that side. Deegan blank to sit in the back of the room. Built no, drove no, drank no, chose yes. We blank for hours before we stopped for gas. Stopping for gas, probably driving. So the past tense, cha-ching, drove. All right, there's still a bunch of kids I didn't get a call on. I'm sorry. I'm gonna like find a list and of all of your names so that I can just start checking them off and calling everyone during my lesson. The problem is I don't have a printer at home, so I'll figure it out. Number 3, the baby blank too much juice. What do you think, Cody? Yep, you're right. Drink. Okay. Choose the correct verb form in this sentence. What do you think, Sophie? Mom and Dad drive us or Mom and Dad drives us? Good. The first one, Mom and Dad drive us. Mom and Dad drives us. Okay. Number 10, the prefix un means not. So if you make something un, it's going to be the opposite. So the opposite of clear is unclear. The opposite of popular is un. The opposite of necessary is unnecessary. And yes, you need 2 N's. All right, and there you have it. All 10 questions done. You can close that book. Okay, boys and girls, we are all done with our learning video today. So you can close out of the YouTube page here in a second and get back on that Google form page. And you're going to want to answer those questions. Make sure they're perfect before you click the submit button at the bottom. And once you submit them, you get credit for doing your schoolwork today. And also, you're going to get the number of points that you got right today. All right, so basically, while we're doing this distance learning stuff, it'll be more of a participation grade. So if you show up, you do what you're supposed to, you try, you give me effort, you're going to pass. All right. Another thing that I want to say before we leave, before you turn off this video, is that each day I recommend that you try to go into one of your special classes and see what they're doing. I signed up for all the specials as well, so I'm going to be doing those lessons with you guys. I'm kind of looking forward to it. So try to do maybe just like we do in normal school, like one special a day if you want. Or you can always double up on certain days if you'd like. I know Mrs. McClure said something about on her Google Classroom, she has like a fitness log that you're supposed to do like 30 minutes of some kind of exercise every day, whether it's like taking a walk or doing push-ups or something. So you could theoretically you could be doing gym class every day as long as you're keeping track of that. fitness log. Um, so after you do that and you do this quiz, go ahead and check out one of their classes as well, whether it's music or library, whatever you want. Before I sign out, I want to say, let's see. Oh, I want to tell you that I miss you guys and I love you guys, and I wish that we weren't in this situation, but you're brave, you're making the most of it, and hopefully you're being nice to your brothers and sisters and your parents. Okay, go ahead and finish that Google form. Mr. R is officially out.